Ladies and gents, boys and girls, happy Thursday, July the 7th, 2022. What's going on? I'm Chris Phillips, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. As always, appreciate you all tuning in. I see Travis Allen, Brendan, Noah, Travi, Connor McCormish. What's going on? Appreciate you all tuning in. Also, guys, in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to the TDC Questions channel. Be sure your questions are answered there. We got a lot to get into here on this Thursday. And of course, guys, I do want to hear from you. Of course, as always, the Daily Crow. It is brought to you by our friends over at Carolina Ale House, as we sit now just 2 weeks away from the official start of the TSUS Tour at all of the Carolina Ale House locations across the state of South Carolina and in Augusta, Georgia. But be sure to check out your local Carolina Ale House. They've got plenty of cold beer on tap. They've got great food, plenty of TVs for you to catch whatever sporting event it is. Of course, the Gamecocks, guys, it's your spot to go to watch all your Gamecock sporting events. If you cannot be there in person, like I said, we've got the TSUS Tour upcoming. That starts in 2 weeks. We'll have all of our watch parties from all the various Carolina Ale House locations this season. Stay tuned for those dates upcoming. Also on the tour, we will have swag merch for sale. We'll have swag to give away. Also, we'll be doing some Q&A stuff like that. More details to come the week of each event, but I think what the plan is, because those are every single Thursday, beginning July 21st and the week of game day, we'll do that one on Tuesday at the Harbison location, the week of the Georgia State game. Probably get those going, though, around 6 o'clock, and we will congregate and fellowship and talk Gamecocks and have a really good time. So, again, that is our friends over at Carolina Ale House. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Again, guys, want to hear from you. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Thursday. I see Justin Langford, Travi, DGD, Cody Gaskins. What's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. What do y'all want to get into here on this Thursday? Again, we can continue to talk my predictions. Yesterday, like I told you guys, I dropped, of course, the podcast, the predictions 4-2 in the first 6. I do have South Carolina beating Kentucky to go into the bye week at 4-2 and 1-2 in the SEC. Tomorrow's podcast, of course, will be the second half of the 2022 football season, which in total will be my entire season prediction will be available tomorrow. And I have not sat down yet and broke down the second half of the schedule. I have not locked in my predictions, at least on my end, have not recorded anything. So I'm still sort of mulling over, still thinking about. I feel like I know which direction I'm going to go. But I have not locked anything in on my end yet. And we ran a poll this morning. How do you feel South Carolina will fare in their final 6? 2-4 or worse, 3-3, 4-2, or 5-1 or better. Also 1-5 or worse, I think, was also the selection. So, looks like Bet Online just dropped their conference championship odds. South Carolina sits plus 8,000 to win the SEC. Just to give you guys an idea, some comparison, the Gamecocks have the same odds as Auburn, plus 8,000. Mississippi State's at plus 10,000. Mizzou at plus 25,000. And Vandy at plus 50,000. Those are the only teams below South Carolina. Alabama's minus 115, Georgia plus 160. I mean, those are the two usual suspects. A&M plus 900, Kentucky plus 2,800. Then Ole Miss plus 3,300, Florida plus 4,000, Tennessee plus 4,500. Florida has better odds than Tennessee. That is shocking to me. That's shocking. Arkansas plus 5,000. And then LSU plus 5,000. And again, the rest of the list, Auburn, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Mizzou, and Vandy. I am shocked to see Florida have better odds than Tennessee. That's shocking. Okay, Travi says, let's talk about how our run defense can and will improve. That's my most important key to a successful season along with the O-line. Yeah, I mean, it's I think we just got to improve at the linebacker position, Travi. I don't know if there's really any magic spell or recipe to do it. We just need better players at linebacker. How do we scheme up? You know what I mean? I think that's got to be, if you think, I would say this, if you think your secondary is all that good, Cam Smith's going to lead the way, scheme it up to stop the run. I mean, load the box, put your guys on an island, do that. You know what I mean? How will they can and will improve? Well, you hope a guy like Stone Blanton at linebacker, he can step in and play. Sherrod Green's return. Players make plays, Travis. And you need guys like Zach Pickens, Boogie Huntley. They need to have big seasons in the middle. I mean, again, it's not some magic spell or recipe to have a good run defense. It's guys have got to make plays, and we need to continue to recruit and develop big-time guys in the middle of the defense, bottom line. So we need to continue to recruit and develop those guys. Again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Guys, I want to continue to hear from you. Your questions as we sit now 58 days away from kickoff. We are in prediction season. We are in the quote-unquote preseason, I feel like, if you will. Like I said, tomorrow's show will be a full breakdown of the second half of the season. And then next week, we'll begin our season preview series, right? Well, we will break down each facet of the game next week. Monday will be offense. Wednesday will be defense. Friday will be special teams. The following week will be SEC Media Days, right? So, of course, that will take up a lot of our time and energy. And during that week also, excuse me, we will begin the opponent preview series where I will go through, we'll spend a podcast breaking down each opponent we play, everything you need to know about that opponent, their returners, their key players, their outlook of the season, just so you get an idea and just get brushed up on the schedule. That's a fun piece of preseason content I like to do. And then we will, after doing that for about 4 weeks, we will dive into the position unit preview series. You're all familiar with that. I will go through, break down every single position unit, all the returners, departures, key players. Season will be successful if, most approved, best player overall. And then I'll give my overall grade. And that will lead us really into game week. Also, I know many of you probably asking, Chris, where is the season simulation series? That is coming soon. Within the next couple of weeks. As you all know, guys, I'm going through a move, which do not ask me about it. It is coming down to the wire, and it is honestly, I'm trying to use the Daily Crow to get away from the moving stuff because it is it is a lot of moving pieces, and it is a very strenuous thing. So anyways, I don't know exactly when we'll fire that up. My plan was, I think, the end of the month, though, so we should have plenty of time. But the season simulation series is right around the corner where I will simulate each and every single game the Gamecocks will play this season, and we'll see what the game says. How South Carolina will fare this year. So content bleeding out of the eyeballs, a lot of exciting things happening over the next few weeks, next few months as we continue to count down the days until toe meets leather at Williams-Brice Stadium. Travi says, can we touch on the changes the conferences are making? Do you see 2 more teams joining? If so, who? I mean, I think it's inevitable Clemson's going to join the SEC at some point. I think that's going to happen. You can hate that. You can love that. No matter how you feel, though, I don't – I mean, listen, give them their just due. Clemson's an SEC team in the ACC. They really are. The way Clemson approaches football, the way they treat football, their size of their stadium, the money they spend on it, they're an SEC team in the ACC. Clemson's not going to be left out. Clemson's not going – if they've got any control over it, they're not going to be left out. So – I think it's inevitable Clemson will join. Florida State, Miami. Maybe you look at a North Carolina. Really tough to say right now, Travis Allen. But, yeah, I think certainly there's going to be more additions. The super conference thing is happening for sure. DGD, what's going on, man? Brandon says, do you think Devontae Reed will start at safety with Jalen Foster's departure? Foster's the only starter from the secondary that we lost. Yeah, I think Devontae Reed, Brandon, was brought in to be the replacement. I think he was brought in to be the replacement for sure. So now the question, again, that's my big question with defenses. Is he going to be able to do what Foster did a season ago? Do I think Reed's probably more talented overall? Probably, right? Foster was a walk-on, but Foster also had 6 interceptions last year. So is it going to be him? Is it going to be Cam Smith? Who's going to be the guy that, that replaces that production? Who's going to be that guy? So let's see. I do apologize, guys. Travis, I have no idea how many more would get added. I have no clue. I think everybody's just guessing at this point. It's more of a reactionary thing. I don't know if it'll be 2, it'll be 4, it'll be 12. I don't know. Marion, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Travis Lee says the Big Ten is trying to get Clemson and Notre Dame. Yeah, I have no clue, man. I have no clue. I know Notre Dame, that's when the talks. I think Notre Dame's probably going to have, the control of where they go. I don't think they hate being independent, obviously. So we'll see what happens. But how's the Beamer tweet doing? Yeah, Beamer showing some love this morning. Shane Beamer showing some love this morning. Retweeting the Brian Maddox clip. I knew there was a reason I tagged him. I knew there was a reason I tagged Shane Beamer. I would say the tweet's probably doing pretty well. Over 3,000 views, 18,000 impressions right now. And it's only been up for about 2 hours. So doing pretty well. It's funny though, like to do what I do, I don't check social media. Social media. Yes, I do. I don't check like analytics as much as you'd probably think somebody like me would. It's important, but I think when you're staying busy producing content, I think that's the trap that some fall into is they post one piece of content and they're like, oh man, it's got to go viral. It's got to go viral. It's got to go viral. And it's like, worry less about that and more about producing content, mass amounts of content, produce content at scale. You know what I mean? People worry so much about going viral. Well, I mean, if you want to go viral, your odds of going viral are much, much higher, right? If you produce 10 pieces of content a day versus 1, right? Let's see. Luke RJ, what counts as an impression? If you scroll and see it, that's an impression. That's an impression. Let's see. Brandon says ESPN had Brian Maddox as a 5-star running back in 2007, the 12th overall recruit. Yeah, I saw he was a 4-star on 24/7. He was a highly rated prospect out of TL Hanna. He was a highly rated prospect. Brian Lattimore, Shane Beamer is a TDC viewer, confirmed per sources. It's funny, Brian, if Periscope was still a thing, Periscope used to show you who was viewing, right? Periscope used to show you who was viewing. And so, I saw, Mark Kingston, Will Muschamp. I saw, their usernames come up like they viewed it, right? So I'm sure Beamer stumbled across it before, right? I mean, what that tweet showed is, and him retweeting that is, Coach Beamer stays on top of social media. I mean, we already knew that. We already knew that, right? But he does. We know that for sure. So. Let's see. Source, Braden Keith, excuse me, of the co-founder and editor-in-chief of Swim Swarm News. Sources say North Carolina, Florida State, Clemson, and Virginia are all negotiating to join the SEC. ESPN is trying to avoid their TV deal with the ACC. Okay. I mean, guys, I think it's going to happen. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. It's that time. Why would you not want your team to join the SEC? Why would you not? Makes no sense not to. Let's see. Yeah, they were trying to get Shane Beamer in their Twitter space real hard for sure. But I mean, we all knew it wasn't going to happen. John Edward, per sources, North Carolina, Florida State, Clemson, and Virginia are all negotiating to join the SEC. So, Caleb Thomas Fishing, one addition to Willie B you'd like to see. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Stadiums are downsizing. They're not expanding, right? Stadiums are downsizing. Most schools are having trouble packing out their stadiums. Here's what I suggest. Because it's becoming, the average fan is being priced out of going to a game. You can't take a family of 4 to a game anymore and it be like without having some serious bankroll. It's not a cheap thing to go to a game. It's not. So, with that being said, let's decrease capacity number, but focus on the premium fan experience. So here's what I suggest. It's a very simple change. Rip out all the bleachers, and the way that we have seating in Founders Park with the nice fold-down chairs, the garnet chairs, put that inside the stadium. Yes, you're going to decrease attendance, but it's going to be a more premium experience. You're not packing it out anyways. You're not selling out Willie B anyways. You're not. Nobody's selling out their stadiums anymore unless you're winning 10, 11, 12 games a year. Focus on the premium experience. Make it more comfortable. Also, Willie B would look super dope with garnet seats. It would look incredible. And so you go from 77,000 to, I don't know, 61, 62,000, make it where, you're trying to hashtag catch a game. Well, if you want people to catch a game, you need to make the game catching experience as enjoyable as possible. Because as some of you mentioned, and it's just true, that there's so many reasons to not go to a game. There's so many reasons to not go into the stadium. Like, why pay this premium price to go sit on a hard bleacher and, watch in person, deal with the elements, right? It's like 100 degrees for the first month of the season when I could sit at home. I have all streaming capabilities. I can watch other games. I can have my own drink. I can have my own food. I can have my own bathroom. I can not be in the elements. Like, why not? And I'm saying that as someone that still loves going to games. I still love, there's nothing like, right, being in the stadium and feeling that energy. But with the way, how much things cost now, right? How much it costs to experience a game, it's a very risky investment, right? Because, as a fan what you're signing up for when you go to a game and you pay for the ticket and you pay for everything else. You might not win. But, man, that's a lot of money to spend. Like, that's why I really like these people that, God bless you, that go on road trips. God bless you. The people like went to Knoxville last year. God bless you. The people that went to College Station. God bless you. You deserve a medal. That's a lot of money to spend to watch us get our ass kicked. So I think doing things to enhance the fan experience for those that want to go to the games, like, why not? You know what I mean? Rip out the bleachers, put in those garnet seats, focus on enhancing the fan experience. That's what I would do. If you really want to make a splash, that's what I would do. Luke RJ says, I can definitely fit in one of those seats. I'm just saying, what about the really, really fat or big people? Ha ha. I would say this, Luke RJ, I don't feel like it's ever really been a problem at Founders. So, those seats are not like tiny. Luke RJ, I don't say this to be mean or disrespectful, but like, if you can't fit in one of those seats, you probably shouldn't go to a game. Sorry. Dude, if you can't fit in those seats, then what's the difference? You sitting on a bleacher, you're taking up 2 seats. Like, I'm sorry, just don't go to a game. Sorry. I guess if I piss some people off saying that, so be it. But like, bro, if you can't fit into a normal fold down seat, like, sorry, bro. Sorry. Maybe consider not going. I don't know. I'm sure that'll be somehow clipped and spun out of control. And wow. Georgia picking up a commitment from the number 1 tight end in the 2024 class. How about that? Georgia's just loaded at tight end. They got all the tight ends. They are loaded at tight end. Let's see. Here we go. Marion says 2 season tickets runs me $144 a month for 8 months. God bless you. Hey, but that's standard rate for 2. Yeah. James Kendall says it does suck to have to worry about money per wins, but that is what it was the last few years. If you were a season ticket holder, you easily under Muschamp could have spent $1,000 a win for 2 tickets. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I think after Muschamp, there were, I knew people that did not renew season tickets when he was there. At least they might have got him back now. They might have got him back now, but yeah, Oscar Delp might never see the field. Let me ask you this: if Oscar Delp entered the portal and wanted to come to South Carolina, would you take him? Would you take Oscar Delp? I'll tell you this. I love Eric Kimmery, and he's my man. He's my dude, and I appreciate him and what he did for Carolina. And but I talked with Eric last year, and we were obviously one of the accounts that was leading the charge for the "we want Delp, we want Delp, we want Delp." I will never do that again for a recruit. Like that made us look so stupid and so foolish. You can say whatever you want. That made us look so dumb. Like the guy's not even a quarterback. It wasn't even like it was Arch Manning. Right? On that note, I would take Oscar Delp for sure. Yeah, I mean, you when it comes to good football players, yeah, you got to remove your pride. You just have to remove your pride. Yeah, I'd take him. I'd take him in a heartbeat. Why would he stay? He's not going to play. I don't know. DGD might still be tuned in. He's not going to play. Why would he stay there? Unless he's just really cool with riding the bench with his buddy Gunnar Stockton, and he just loves going out in downtown Athens that much. Why would he stay? He's not going to play at Georgia. Why would he stay? Yeah. I mean, listen, what the Delp thing showed last year was like when Gamecock fans, when we want to come together for our common goal, we can do it. We will do it. And we will make our voices heard. But that push for Delp, a tight end, and I will never do that again. I think that made us look silly. It made us look foolish. The guy wasn't even a quarterback. He was a damn tight end. You know what I mean? Like I think that was silly. I think that was a little bit silly, but whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. I guess if it would have worked, we'd have said how great it was. So I think I've sat in the zone one time. So our guy Evan Perriman, by the way, wrote a great article this morning we published, why South Carolina is due for a major home upset against the Georgia Bulldogs. So go check that out. A very well done article by our guy Evan. How about this? Let's highlight this. Luke RJ says 1 year anniversary for me on Twitter was yesterday. Around this time last year, I found out about TSUS. Luke RJ, pleasure to have you, my guy. Thank you so much. I love to hear that. Love to hear that. Shout out to Luke RJ. It's been a pleasure rocking with you ever since, my guy. And here we are now. Look at us. Look at us. Look at us, Luke RJ. Love it. Love it. Again, guys, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Noah John says, I got a feeling we're going to upset Arkansas. I mean, listen, I think it's a coin flip game. I think it is a toss-up game. That's why I listed it as a toss-up. As I told you, I don't love the matchup. Are we going to be improved on the offensive line? Yeah, we can't be any worse. Are we going to be improved enough that quickly to go beat Arkansas? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Arkansas is a really good football team. Again, they got 4 or 5 guys back up front offensively as well. Can our defense stop the run? We'll be tested. I mean, we will be tested. We'll be tested big time. And I just don't know out of the gate on the road that we will be quite ready to pull that upset. Because that will be an upset. Because Arkansas will probably be, I think they'll be at least a touchdown favorite. I think they'll be a touchdown favorite. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they'll be a touchdown favorite. So, listen, it's not the most important game. I literally posted a clip about this morning. Not the most important game of the season. Not the most important game of the season. Biggest swing game? Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Because, I'm going to lock in my predictions. I'm going to lock in my predictions for the rest of the season tomorrow. You'll all know what the deal is, right? You'll all know what my final predictions are. It's not the most important game, though, but it is the biggest swing game. It is the biggest swing game. You beat Arkansas, all of a sudden, throw the predictions out the window almost. I mean, it's just like, who knows? I mean, you're 2-0 at home against Georgia. Who knows? Who knows? I probably still won't be picking you to beat Georgia, but who knows? Chase Lauter, yes. He says, are you still selling the Rattler? Yes, yes. QB1, Beamer Rattler. Yes, so here's the challenge. As we add new things to the store, right? There's only so much space on the home screen. If you look at that tab on the left, or if you're on mobile, you click the tab button, you will see, you will see the Beamer Rattler 22 collection. It's still there. The QB1 collection still in the online store. Yes, all of that merch is still there. All that merch. So please check it out. Get your merch today, guys. Also, our merch is in Todd and More now. Go there, buy the Beamer Ball stuff. But that Beamer Rattler stuff, that QB1 stuff, you want to get on that. You want to get on that. You want to get your merch before kickoff. It's around the corner. It's around the corner. It's not tomorrow, but it's close. You want to get it now. You want to get it now. Let's see. Here's a great question. Let's get into this. Garrett H. Would you personally be happy with 4-2, 1-2 in the SEC through the first 6 games as you have predicted? And my answer is yes. Yes, I would. Especially if you're able to beat Kentucky in that 6th game, right? I think expecting to go 4-2 is reasonable. That should be the goal. That should be the expectation. Because as I've said before, you're expecting to beat Georgia State, Charlotte, and SC State, right? That's 3 wins. Kick them in. No disrespect to any of those opponents, but kick them in. You will be an underdog to Arkansas, Georgia, and Kentucky. I think we all agree with that. But you got to find a way. If you can get to 4-2 at the halfway point. Because if you're sitting there at 3-3, 0-3 in league play, you get to the halfway, you get to the bye week, and that's a moment to reflect, right? Look yourself in the mirror. Hey, who are we as a football team? Who are we? It's going to be really hard to stomach to say, well, we're halfway through this season, and, we've just kind of beaten who we're supposed to and lost to who we're supposed to, but we haven't done anything spectacular. We haven't done anything special. We're just kind of here. And then you got A&M looming the following week, who you will most certainly be an underdog to, who I think most of us expect the Gamecocks to lose to. So to get back to your question, yes, at 4-2, 1-2 in league play, I will be happy with that, because what that means is we're all expecting a loss to Georgia. what that will mean is you split your 2 toss-up games. I can live with that. I can live with that. At 4-2 through the first 6, you set yourself up for success in the second half. You set yourself up to, of course, get to bowl eligibility and to get to that 7-win mark. That I think you win 7 or more this year, that's a successful season. That's a successful year 2 of Shane Beamer. So, yes, I will be happy with 4-2. And I think that's a fair prediction. I think anything above 4-2 is aggressive. I don't see South Carolina guys starting 5-1. Most certainly, I don't see them starting 6-0. But you need to find a way to split the Arkansas and Kentucky games. Because, again, the mood of this fan base, if you get to the bye week at 3-3, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and it's not going to be fun. So, yeah, I would be happy with 4-2. Colton Carnell says, hell yeah, my TSUS and TDC anniversary is 2 weeks away. I have to say, Chris, you brought a huge amount of joy and perspective to my fandom. Colton, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Seriously. I appreciate you tuning in. Sir Cock, here we go. Why were those guys on Twitter bashing in their space? Dude, here's what's funny. I jumped into that Twitter space. Those guys are harmless, man. They're just, you can change the title of the Twitter space or whatever. They were just messing around with it. Dude, it's harmless, man. It's not that. I promise you it's not that serious. It's really not that serious. Hey, it feels good to be the topic of conversation. But no, listen, again, I jumped in that space, bantered with those dudes for a second. They're harmless, just dudes messing around on Twitter. So, let's see. Travi, 2 things I'll take away from the Arkansas game. How do we handle adversity on the road? Early, and 2, can we supplant our identity early in the year? Yeah, very, very good point. Very true. Very true. Yeah. Yeah, very true. Good God, here we go. Fisher Karn says, what is this about you and 5th quarter against USC Talk, Cinderella, and Raging? I am not included in that at all, Fisher Karn. So please do not try to lump me into that madness, that foolishness. I think some of those guys made like a meme or something saying like, I don't know why they put me on like the 5th quarter side of the ring, or they put me in 5th quarter's corner. I have nothing to do with any of that. So people can just make whatever memes they want on social media, but I have nothing to do with any of that. So let them make memes. That's fine, but I have I have no dog in the fight. Luke RJ, can we break down Arkansas' schedule last year really quick? Was their record? What was their record? Were they really that good? Sure. We can look at the Arkansas schedule. Let's see. 2021 schedule for Arkansas. Okay. They went 1, 2, 3, 4. They went 9-4. They went 9-4. Won their bowl game against Penn State in the Outback. Here, I can just share this if you want to see it. I'm sure Luke RJ wants to see it. All righty. Let's see. Here we go. All right. This was Arkansas last year. Okay. Beat Rice. That win against Texas was the big one. I remember going to downtown Greenville for the watch party against ECU, and that was the same day as that Texas game. We came home and watched that, and Arkansas just took Texas to the woodshed. Right? So they started the season 4-0, beat Texas A&M. Then remember they had that big matchup against Georgia, got destroyed, which Georgia beat the heck out of everybody. Lost to Ole Miss. Lost to Auburn, which I think was the most confusing result of the year for them. Beat Arkansas Pine Bluff. Beat Mississippi State, a ranked Mississippi State team. Won at LSU in overtime. Lost to Bama by 7. I forgot about that. Lost to Bama by 7. KJ Jefferson threw for 326 yards in that game. Crazy. And then beat Mizzou by 17 and then beat Penn State in the bowl game. So they had a good year. They had a good year. They had a really good year. The key to that game, guys, is going to be stopping KJ Jefferson. You got to take something away, right? You got to take something away from KJ Jefferson. Make him run, make him throw, make him one-dimensional. You can't let him do both, right? Can't let him do both. So you cannot let him do both. But yeah, I mean, listen, Arkansas is a team on the up and up. I mean, they are. Sam Pittman's doing a great job. Sam Pittman's doing a great job. Chase Lauter, yes, sir. Thank you. I just saw your order come through, Chase. I truly appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Truly. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, guys, in case you missed it, by the way, full Comfort Colors collection is now available. I know we all love Comfort Colors, and I can tell you I've gotten Comfort Colors. I've gotten some of my own merch in Comfort Colors. It's awesome. Absolute game changer. It's an absolute game changer. So be sure to stock up on your merch. Be sure to get that today. Like I said, it's right around the corner, man, before you know it. And I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. People are going to wait until the week of kickoff and say, Chris, can I buy this t-shirt off of you? And I'm going to say, I don't have inventory. You should have bought it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, over the summer. If you're trying to get your merch, man, I mean, again, I'm going to have some, Todd and Moore's a great place to go get it. Rival's a great place to get it. But if you're trying to get your merch, go ahead and get ahead of it. Here we go. Breaking news from USC Talk. It's all love. Yeah, it's all love. Yeah, it's all love. It really is. Beauty's in the banter, and Twitter's a great place for banter. Noah Johns, yes, the Beamer rally towels. We're working on those. Yes, I will put those on the store. Yes, but I will have those as inventory. So if you guys want, you can buy. I'm planning on carrying those at the TSUS tour, also at the tailgates. Planning on carrying those at the tailgates. Having those probably $5 a pop, something like that. So I'm planning on having those, though, at the tailgate. So if you want to buy those just in person, you're more than welcome to. If you want to order them online and pick it up at the tailgate, you're more than welcome to. Honestly, that would be preferred because then I don't have to pay for shipping. That'd be great. That'd be great if you don't mind. I will ship, though, if needed. But, yeah, anyways. Guys, taking your questions, comments, calls. Appreciate you all tuning in. Really fun stuff here on this Thursday. Really excited for tomorrow's podcast. Like I said, guys, I'm locking in my predictions for the second half of the 2022 football season. Very similar format to the Wednesday show, which I'll just literally go through and give my score predictions and thoughts on each game. And I'm sure the predictions I drop tomorrow will cause a bit of a stir, if you will. I'm not even saying that because I'm like, oh, I know specifically exactly the scores I'm picking at this very moment, but it's just prediction season, man. It's prediction season. So it is prediction season. Let's see. Again, appreciate you, Chase. I saw your order come through. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. Like, dude, why is this Gamecock Blue O'Neal having the Royal Rumble with those other bozos? There is no Royal Rumble. There's no Royal Rumble. Do not lump me in the Royal Rumble. TSUS has nothing to do. I don't know how we got dragged into it. I got nothing to do with it. Nothing. Don't lump me into that. Noah Johns, you'll see me at Seawells. Indeed. Hey, let's get it. Let's get it, my guy. Hope to see you there. Hope to see everybody there. We have a really good time at Seawells. If you've never been, it's an awesome time. It's an awesome time. Chance Crocker says South Carolina will go 7-5. That's a fair prediction. I mean, and that's again, that is the safe pick. Again, as I said yesterday, and I've said for a while now, I think picking South Carolina to win anything below 6 is too pessimistic. Picking them to win anything more than 8, I think is too optimistic. And I don't mean that as like a diss to anybody that's picking Carolina to go 9-3, because I know there's a fair number of you out there, but I think 9-3 is too aggressive. I think this is a team that I think even if we have a breakout season, 8-4 is about right. I think 8-4 is about right because, again, like I've told you guys, at 9-3, basically what you're saying is that South Carolina is going to win practically every swing game, and they're just going to lose to the big 3 elite teams. And let me say this. When has it ever been that simple? Like, you know what I mean? Like when has college football ever been that simple? And that's also why I would probably balk at 5-7, like my guy Jake Crane, right? He's got 5-7, 2-6 in SEC play. He's just going all chalk. when has it ever gone like all chalk? Like, when has college football ever been that way? Luke RJ, which reply are you talking about? Defending what reply? I don't think I've defended anyone to any degree. But I love, like, I posted the screenshot of the space, like, more as like a joke. Like, I just think it's funny. I mean, USC Talk was hosting that space, and he changed the title to Chris Phillips is a loser. Like I said, guys, I literally jumped in that space and like was just shooting the shit with the guys because they said the original title was Chris Phillips Fan Club. So I jumped in and was like, hey, man, you might want to change the title because you're going to get half of Gamecock Twitter to block you. Ha, 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 funny joke, whatever. And then I jumped out. And they were cool, and they just changed the name. So, like, it really isn't – it's really not that big of a deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm very happy with where we stand in the Gamecock space, folks. I'm like – and that's what's so funny. Like, this guy, the most – probably, like, the most sad Clemson – one of the most sad Clemson accounts on Twitter is this Clutch Sports Clemson guy. It's like, at some point, it's like, bro, just follow us. Just follow us because you reply to damn near everything I tweet anyways. But he basically replied and said, oh, yeah, it's it's so cool to, like, your entire fan base hates you. I'm like, bro, there's 10 people in that space. 10. Do me a favor and do 10 divided by 23.3 thousand. And that's just on Twitter. I'll take those percentages every day of the week. Oh, yeah, no, Luke RJ. I did reply. I was not defending anyone, Luke RJ, but I said pipe down slapdick because the guy brought me up in conversation when there was no need to bring me up in conversation. So, no, I was just replying to him. What's so funny, again, Luke RJ is just reinforcing this point. What's so funny about Twitter and social media is, and this is why you have to take nothing personally, right? Like, I'm a reader of books, if you will, and one of my favorites is The Four Agreements, and one of the Four Agreements is take nothing personally, right? And that's because when you put something out on social media, you can know your intent behind it. You can know you're joking. You can know it's lighthearted. You can know it's, intent. But once you put and I've learned this lesson the hard way. I've learned this lesson doing what I do. Once you put something out on the social media universe, it's in the eye of the beholder. People can take things however they want to take them. So if they want to take something as a joke, they can take it as a joke. If they want to take something personally, they can take it personally. Like, you have no control how the end consumer consumes that content. You have no control. So that's why I can lay my head on my pillow at night. People have come at me for certain things, but I knew what my intent, I know what my intent was behind it. You know what I mean? So it's so, like, in that example, like Luke RJ said, it looks like you were doing this. It's like, there you go. That's why it's very dangerous to make assumptions on social media of what people mean, right? And that's why also it's very important for someone like myself that you have to be careful when you are tweeting things or replying to things or what you say, because people can take it and spin it however what way they want, right? So that's why I don't really worry about the beauty's in the banter. However you want to take things and consume it, that's on you. I'm not responsible for your feelings, right? I'm not responsible for the way you consume a piece of content. I just keep it moving. I'm going to create another piece of content and another one and another one and another one and another one, like DJ Khaled, another one. So anyways, talking season. Indeed. It is talking season. It is talking season. Jeff Gullidge. No, next week, Jeff, I won't start breaking down positions until early August. So the schedule is next week. I'll dive into the season preview series. I mean, I say it's a series. It's 3 shows. But the season preview series, I will talk offense as a whole, defense as a whole, special teams as a whole, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then the following week is SEC Media Days, and that's when I'll dive into the opponent preview series. And then after about 4 weeks of that, that's when we dive into the position unit preview series. So we spend basically the month of August breaking down the positions. So it's a lot of content. Travis Allen, thank you for the order, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate it. Rebecca, I do see you. Thank you for tuning in. And thank you all for tuning in. We're rocking, we're rolling here on this Thursday, guys. We're going to go ahead and jump into our first break, but I want to continue to hear from you, more of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Thursday, July the 7th, 2022. It is a hot one, by the way, in Cola. I also had a buddy of mine. You think it's hot in Columbia. I had a buddy of mine send me a screenshot of the weather. He lives in Austin, Texas. Guys, it is like 100 every day. Like the weather report says it's going to be 100 every day. So I guess it could be worse. Let's see. Hope, thank you for the order. I did see that. Appreciate that, Hope. Thank you. I just got an email. Thank you so much for the order, Hope. Appreciate it. Let's see. Noah Johns, I think we've got good enough skill guys. Just going to depend on O-line and stopping the run. Indeed, yeah. Line of scrimmage. I think we've got enough skill guys on both sides to be successful. Just got to block. I mean, that was our biggest problem last year. Got to block. Got to give them a chance. Caleb Thomas fishing. Best spot to tailgate if you're sitting in Section 8. I mean, Caleb, I don't think where you're sitting really impacts where to tailgate. I mean, I think anywhere. Yeah, I mean, I think there's plenty of great spots. I mean, the fairgrounds, Gamecock Park, Seawells with us. I mean, all over. You know what I mean? Yeah, all over. There ain't a bad spot to tailgate, I think, outside of Willie B. Man of God says, so the fight was fake. It was posted on 24/7. Bro, man of God, there never was a fight to begin with. Now, I think fifth quarter and those guys had some beef, but I have nothing to do with it. Nothing. But again, that goes to show you how silly social media can be. Let's start with the phone lines here.
Robbie Davis, a.k.a. Kirk Herbstreit.
Robbie, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing on this Thursday?
I am doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
I feel like that at some point a lot of times this season, okay, because our schedule is, in my opinion, pretty brutal, okay? Even though we have games against Charlotte and SC State back-to-back, our schedule is brutal, okay? And I feel like there's going to be several games where it's going to come down to, it's going to be like a 1 or 2 score game or a field goal game, and it's going to come down to who wants it more, okay? And I think that in that Arkansas game, we will see how bad both the teams want it, because I think that will be a good game, and I still think we'll go into the Georgia game 2-0. Okay, I stand by that fact. Okay, and those of you that hate me for it, that's fine. You can hate me for
Robbie,
it.
Robbie, I promise you, nobody hates you for picking Carolina to be 2-0 going into Georgia. Quite the opposite. I think they probably love you for that. I just wanted to make that clear.
And okay. I was just letting people know, okay, because I do have haters, okay. I know I got haters, okay.
Right.
But I don't care about the haters, okay. The haters can pucker up, in the words of Rebecca, okay. Pucker up, okay. And I just feel like if certain things on the field go our way, whenever, if we're on defense and we can somehow get the 50-50 balls, okay, and we cause a turnover, get the 50-50 balls and capitalize off of them in a couple of the toss-up games, and maybe shock, and like I said before, shock a few people and win a game that we're not supposed to win. I feel like that could happen, and I just feel that we're going to, as I've also said before, slowly but surely shut up all the naysayers, okay? All the negative Nellies out there in the world that think we're going to suck, okay? I feel like with the recruiting that we have done and the recruiting that is going on, I am convinced that Shane Beamer is slowly building a powerhouse.
Yeah, I'm excited for what Beamer's building. I really am, and I voiced that last night at Tin Roof. And I'm no matter what you pick, 6-6, 7-5, 8-4, whatever, man. I'm pumped for the direction of the program. Absolutely. I think he's doing everything you could ask in recruiting, and you had a great first year, and now it's just about developing that and translating it on the field.
And also, I feel like we had really good players last year. Don't get me wrong, we did, okay? But the players that we had that started last year, I want to see on the field whenever I go to the state game or if I'm watching a game on TV. I want to be able to tell that they've gotten better in the offseason. You know what I mean? And with the previous regime, that did not happen.
Right.
Because one year we went 9-3, wasn't it? Under that bum of a coach, right? We went 9-3, and then the following year we got them stunk up the field. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. You need to build off of a 9-3 season or a 7-5 season. You got to build off of that. Use it as a recruiting tool, and slowly you will become a powerhouse in the conference. And I truly believe that we are going to eventually become a team that no one's going to want to play because we're so fundamentally sound and we don't make a lot of mistakes. Because I look like 2010 to 2013 and 2014. I went into every game thinking we were going to win. Okay, because of the players we had and how we developed them. The 2012 game against Georgia, that I thought we were going to win 100 by at least 2 touchdowns, but we wound up kicking their ass and gave them an ass whooping. They showed up to Willie B, and they got an ass whooping. And I think Shane Beamer can get us back to that, to where we are going into a game against Georgia or a game against even Alabama, for crying out loud, okay, where we will have a shot solely because of the development of the players and the coaching staff.
Robbie, you no truer words have been spoken than from Robbie Davis.
And I don't give a crap. I want us to kick everyone's ass, don't get me wrong, but I don't give a crap how it's done. You win. Listen, I would tell one, and like I've said before with things I would tell the team, right? But I don't give a crap what happens on the field. You make that other dude have to kill you to win this game. I don't give a damn. Because we need to turn Willie B into what it was for a lengthy period of time, a tough place to play, and make the opposing team's life a living hell. If we come into the Georgia game 2-0, who cares? We're 2-0. So what? Go into the Georgia game thinking, okay, we're 0-0. We win this game, we're 1-0. Just go. Dadgummit, make Georgia earn it, and it's going to be difficult because it's Georgia. Okay, they got the target on their back though. Okay.
Robbie, you know what I love
Make
about you?
Georgia's
You know
life
one
a
of my
living
favorite parts about you, Robbie, you have an uncanny ability to go from analyst mode to coach mode and go back and forth when you're giving predictions. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but you the way you break down
an compliment or is this a...
No, it's just a statement. I don't know if it's a compliment or an insult. It's just a statement. But you talk about a game in the sense of they have this player, this player, this player. It's this matchup. It's this matchup. It's this matchup. And you're like, make the other man kill you to win the game. Like you go from analyst speak to coach speak and back and forth. I've never seen it in my entire life, and I respect the hell out of it.
But that makes a lot of sense though, right? You're playing, say like the Georgia game, right? Like I said before, even though yes, they're better than us as a whole. The second that ball's kicked off, that don't mean shit, because whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. Period. I don't give a damn who's the better team. I don't care who's the worst team. The team that has the most points and makes the least amount of mistakes wins the football game. Period.
Facts.
And anytime I would tell my defense, look, I don't give a darn. Find the guy with the ball and hit him hard. You tell him that I sent you, and you tell him that you're coming again, and you're gonna make him lose that football. Because I truly believe that if we can get the 50-50 balls against Georgia or even Arkansas, okay, the week prior, if we can capitalize off of getting the 50-50 balls, we will pull an upset this year.
Mm-hmm.
And dadgummit, you've got to sack the quarterback, because if you sack the quarterback, guess what? He's going to get rattled, and he's going to make a mistake because he's going to be looking all over the place, making sure there isn't a defensive end breathing down his neck. Okay? And if we can do that, we'll pull off we can do those things. We'll pull off an upset or two this season. I truly believe that.
I think that's the recipe for a big upset. You are correct. Force turnovers, protect the football, make big plays, and yeah, I mean that's it. That's it. You're right.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's not going to be easy, right? Because we play in the best conference, in my opinion. Okay, sorry to all you Big Ten and fans out there, but until you play a SEC schedule, y'all ain't got no. Because I had to. It was very hard to talk to a guy at a bar. Me and my dad were at, because he was doing karaoke, and he's a Michigan State guy. I tried to explain to him that I tried to explain to him as well as I could that the Big Ten was not as good as people think it is. And he wasn't having it.
Mm. Yeah, not sure we got many Big Ten folks in here that'll argue you. Put it that way.
And I still stand by my statement, okay? from a couple of weeks ago. Okay, if I can remember it real quick. But anyways, Yeah, I got it. It's in there. Okay, go into each game, right, as if it's a new season, right? Game 1, season 1. Game 2, season number 2. Game 3, season number 3. You following me here?
I am, but you sound so painfully like Will Muschamp, I'm about to hang up on you.
Well, don't do that. Okay, I'll stop. Sorry, I didn't even realize I was
Every
doing that.
week is a season. God, kill me. Kill me now.
Sorry. I'm going to wash
The
my
beautiful
mouth out
thing
with,
about
with
us, Robbie, and not being a player and not being a coach and not being in the building is we can look ahead. So I can talk about the Clemson game if I want for the next 58 days before kickoff. So the way I think that's what fans don't get is like, listen, the team themselves should expect to win every game. But we can make predictions of 7-5 because I'm not on the team. I can make the pick.
Right.
You know, I don't have to think about like we're just going to out-heart the team. It's like, no, they're just better than us. You know. Anyways, whatever. Continue. Sorry.
And you also need skill, and we don't have quite a bit. We don't have a lot of that. Okay. We do have some skill players. Don't get me wrong, we do. But you need quite a bit to have the success that Georgia has had over the last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly do think we're getting there. And like you said, it's going to be probably about a 5 to, at the most, a 6-year process, right? For us to get to where we want to be, okay? Because we didn't start winning 9 and 10 and 11 games until what? Spurrier's what? 5th or 6th year?
Yeah, 6th year.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So, yeah. It's going to take time, okay? I'm just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy it every single week. Because we only get football season, or especially college football season, for what? 3 months? And then
12 games, baby. 12 games. 12 games.
12 games, and only 7 of them are home games. I just want to see us go out there, prove the naysayers wrong, shut them up one at a time, okay? And I think Beamer is going to do that, along with this coaching staff. That is, if Satterfield's offense actually works this year. And by the way, Sadie, if the offense don't work, I'm coming to your house and packing up all your crap, okay? I will pack up all your crap personally and escort your butt out of Columbia.
You have been warned, Sat. You've been warned.
You have been warned twice. This is twice. Twice I have warned him. So he better hope and pray that his offense works. And also be praying for me because I'm going to probably be going axe throwing with my dad and one of his coworkers this evening. So hopefully I don't fudge it up.
Yeah, be careful.
I will. And that's basically it. Go Gamecocks, to heck with Clemson. And if you need any like produce, go to Clemson. But if you want to become a lawyer, go to South Carolina.
Thank you, Robbie. Well said as always, my friend. Take care. Great stuff. Robbie Davis, just the gift that keeps on giving is Robbie Davis. Robbie Davis. What a time. What a time. What a time. Here, let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Dalton.
Dalton, what's up, man? How are you?
Hello. How is your afternoon going? I'm still on vacation out here enjoying
Jeez, feels good to be
beautiful
good.
day.
Feels good to be good, my friend.
Yeah.
Nah, it's going well, man.
It is hot, but
But you're at the
ocean
beach,
breeze
correct?
makes it a little bit better. But
You're at the beach, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's perfect. You want it to be hot then.
Yeah. I might go out to the beach after this call, but I was
Beautiful.
just sitting on the balcony having a thought, and that
Mhm.
thought came from the Twitter exchange that you and everybody's favorite person had yesterday, Mr. Mark Ryan,
Yes,
about
yes, yes.
our recruiting.
Mhm.
So let me pull up the exact what exactly he said. Basically, it's the fact, like, he was saying that Will Muschamp recruited at a higher level, but Shane Beamer gets more out of his players. My question about that is, do you think that you could accurately say that after year one?
Yeah,
because I think a lot of fans would agree with his take. I think a lot of fans would say, hey, Will Muschamp won 9 games in year one. You really can't say that about a coach until he gets, further into his tenure.
Yeah, I know everybody wants to draw conclusions, but it's too early to do so, right? It is. Because if we were drawing conclusions, which some people did, right? If we were drawing conclusions early, though, I mean, after year 2, everybody thought Will Muschamp was the answer, right? So that is why it's a good idea to, I know that we all feel great, right, about the direction of the program. And I feel that way. And we feel like things are different with Shane Beamer. And I'm not saying they're not, but it is a good idea to, not get too far out ahead of yourself, right? Because things can change and evolve over time. And as we saw with Will Muschamp, just because we won 9 games in year 2 and what he did in the first 2 years, right, that didn't mean a whole lot, did it? So, yeah, to Mark Ryan's point, when he brought up the recruiting class rankings, the number, and I mean, I thought Shane Beamer, for what the cards he was dealt in year 1, I think we all agree they did a good job, right? I mean, you have to give credit where credit's due. They got this team to 7 wins, which, I mean, the over-under in Vegas was 3.5. How quickly we forget. Did I think that was disrespectful? Yes, but even at that, like, I thought 6-6 would be a great season. I picked it, but I thought it'd be a great season, and they got him there and got him to that bowl victory. While playing 4 different quarterbacks, by the way, and winning a game with 4 different quarterbacks. But is it too early to draw that type of conclusion? Yes, I think it is. I think it is. I think it's even too early to draw the conclusion. I don't know if he was drawing a conclusion of this, but like wanting to say, well, Muschamp recruited at a higher level with class rankings, but Beamer's going to develop more. Like, I mean, he's only had 2 classes, and one of them wasn't even really his class. You know what I mean? So I'd say let's check in 3 to 4 years and see how that's playing out. I know we're all confident in Beamer and what he's doing. I'm confident in Beamer on the recruiting trail. I said it before. I'll say it again. I never really had worries about Beamer and recruiting because he's done it at South Carolina before. So I never really worried. I didn't expect him out of the gate to be, oh, now we're just top 10 in recruiting. I think you got to win some games to build up to that. But pulling in top 25 classes, I don't think Beamer will have any problem doing that. You know what I mean? He believes in the program. He'll be able to sell it. He's been there before. He's seen it at its best. He knows what makes South Carolina great, what makes it special, and what can get it to the next level. So, for those type of conversations, long story short, I think we have this. We don't have a lot of patience, right? And we want to draw conclusions so badly, but it's a little early to be doing that, I think, in regards to that conversation.
And then sort of the next question I have that sort of hinges off of that first comment he made, that Beamer gets more out of his players, is he was talking about the blue chip ratio. I don't know if you know what the blue chip ratio is, or it's essentially a theory. The theory goes that in order to contend for a national title, you basically have to have your recruiting class every year be above a 50% blue chip ratio, meaning that more than half of your class is 4 and 5 stars, right? and he posted the blue chip ratio for Muschamp during his tenure. It was 31%. During Beamer's tenure, 22 and 23, it's 34%. We're nowhere close to the 50% we would need, and I don't think anybody's saying we're going to contend for a national championship, even if Beamer does the absolute best job he possibly can. But what I'm wondering is, do you think it's possible for Beamer to get to that 50% blue chip ratio, or is that sort of really only reserved for the blue bloods, if you will?
Well, Clemson's gotten there, right? They've gotten to that threshold. They've gotten to that blue chip ratio you speak on. So why can't we do it? Listen, I know people hate Mark Ryan, and that's totally fine. Whatever. I don't care how you feel about Mark Ryan. But I think his point is valid when it comes to winning a national championship. It just makes sense, right? The team with the most 4- and 5-star players, those are the teams that are winning the titles, right? Like, you can say stars don't matter till you're blue in the face, but Alabama has the most of them. There's a reason they're Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, Alabama's not recruiting classes full of 3-stars and they're just, it's the Alabama way. And man, they're just the way they're developing these guys. Those things are all very real, the Alabama way and their development.
Obviously, you still need to develop.
Right. I'm not saying that, but
right.
Right, but there's some guys that are more limited than others when it comes to their peak capacity of what their talent provides them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it makes sense that blue chip ratio. Now, do you need to hit that 50% or greater to get to Atlanta? No, I don't think you do. But to win a national championship, that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
I would argue that with these new additions to the SEC, Texas, Oklahoma, Clemson, potentially FSU, Virginia, North Carolina, you are actually going to have to get to that 50%
right
in order to even win a conference title.
And that's fair.
What they're essentially going to do. What they're going to do is they are going to essentially get rid of division. So instead of having to win the division, you basically are going to have to be top 2 in the conference. And I just don't see you getting there without being one of the best 5 teams in the country.
Yeah. I think that's very fair. And I think the thing you have to also keep in mind, what does change here is the transfer portal, right? That aren't factored into recruiting rankings, right? So, what would South Carolina's class have been ranked last year if you factored in the additions of Spencer Rattler, Austin Stogner, Antoine Wells, Devontae Reed? Would the class, how much differently would it have looked? But, yeah, listen, I think it just, Dalton, the question you're asking can be simplified down to this. Does adding more really good players mean we're going to win more? Does it get you closer to being an elite program? The answer is yes. You know what I mean? The answer is yes.
It obviously does.
Right.
There's
right.
no question about that. And I don't really doubt our ability to recruit in the top 25 and the top 20.
Right.
But if we really want to get where Shane Beamer wants to go,
and where we want to go, yeah,
where everybody in the fan base wants to go, I just don't see how we're going to be able to recruit, or how we're going to recruit even the peak of what we have done in recruiting in the Steve Spurrier era. You've got to be better than that. You've got to exceed all expectations multiple times over in recruiting in order to do that. And I don't know if it's possible at South Carolina.
Well, I just say this again. I know we hate talking about them, but how did Clemson do it? I think all Clemson really did was, Dabo recruited as best he could. They won as absolute much as they could, right? And I would say for South Carolina, you do the same thing early, that, you need to be master talent evaluators, master talent developers early on in the tenure. You're not going to recruit, like you're saying, at a top 10 level. You're just not going to do it early on, right? There's so many other good programs. You're not there yet. But That's why I said before, man, it's so, as long as you're making bowl games in this first 5-year stretch is the way I look at it. If you can win 7, maybe 8, but as long as you're staying around that 7, 6 or more win total, and you just keep adding pieces, and you keep building the culture, and you make South Carolina a fun place to play football, then you start getting in the living rooms of these 5-star guys, and you start convincing, hey, we're just a couple guys away. Come here. Sell all the reasons why a 5-star guy would want to come to South Carolina, right? Instead of going to a blue blood like a Georgia, Bama, LSU, even a Clemson. Like, hey, come do things here that have never been done before. Come make history. You start getting those guys like we did when we got Lattimore. You're going to need some guys to go against the grain, right? And pick Carolina when it's so obvious to pick the other school. Stephen Garcia, for example, was a great example of that. He's talked about a lot to me that's what Steve Spurrier sold was, you can go to Oklahoma, you can go to Ole Miss, you can go to Florida, and you'll just, but you can come here and set a standard and start a new trend and do something different. And that's what sold him on it. You're going to need to find guys that buy into that and want to do that. And so you start getting more of those players. And also, of course, you're winning on the field a little bit more because those top guys want to go where they're winning. I don't know there's many 5-stars out there that want to go play for a loser. They don't want to go play for a team that's going 6-6. You can start, you need to have a breakthrough season. You need to have a season where you go 8-4, maybe a 9-3, because then you start getting more good players. It's like the chicken or the egg conversation. You need great players to win more games. But I think you also need to win more to attract better players. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a balancing act early on. So year 1 was great. You overachieved. You need to keep doing that, right? To keep attracting. I mean, if you don't, let me ask you this. If you don't beat UNC, or excuse me, if you don't, let's say you lose to Vandy. Let's say you don't make a bowl game. Do you still get Spencer Rattler? I mean, maybe you do, but don't you think that the trajectory of the program and going to a bowl and the positive momentum, I think that helped get Rattler here for sure. You got to say that helped a little bit. It helped a little bit at least.
You look at what Shane Beamer has done on the recruiting trail, and I think it's really good. Obviously, I mean most fans would agree that it's really good. We're getting nationally ranked, highly recruited guys, but I don't know. I can't really find any evidence that would dispute the blue chip ratio, if you will. A lot of South Carolina fans don't like people saying that the blue chip ratio is an undeniable fact and reality in college football. But again, you look at it, nobody who's had any kind of national success and winning a national title has been below the blue chip ratio. So it's
and it's because people just don't want to. Yeah, people just don't want to face that because then you have to look at yourself and say, well, this is where we're falling short. And it makes the common fan be critical of their own program. They don't want to do that, right? Nobody wants to do that. But I agree with you. It's the truth. It's the facts are the facts. Facts don't have bias. They're just facts.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. And I mean, that's sort of the reason with all the changes of, the SEC changing and they're becoming quote unquote super conferences, maybe they will expand the playoffs in the future, but it just sort of got me thinking, yesterday, Mark Ryan's tweet, is it really even possible for us to go above that 50%? And until I see it happen, I just would say that I don't think it is. It's still possible for us to be a very good football team, one of the best in the SEC, win a lot of big games, have a lot of really fun, good seasons and go to a lot of fun bowl games. But until I see us break that barrier that our football program has been in for the last 200 years, I just don't, I just don't think that it's really possible.
The last 200 years. No, I mean, you make a great point. I would say this, Dalton. I think it's possible to break that that blue chip ratio barrier in a 1-year sample size. I don't know that it's going to be a yearly thing. And, fans, again, hearing what you're saying will get upset with it, and that's totally fine. But what you're saying is valid. I mean, it's like I said last night at Tin Roof, that saying that South Carolina will not ever in its history win a national championship or an SEC championship, that's not a bold take. Because history shows it won't. History says it will not. You are the one with the bold take. And I'm not trying to be negative, but it's just a fact. You are the one with the bold take if you say South Carolina is going to win a national championship in football. You are. Now, those in the building should not think the way I'm thinking. They should believe it's going to happen, right? The thought process is different. But just as a fan with no control.
Yeah, I mean, everybody running the team, everybody on the team should believe that they
right.
can be,
They should believe we're going to win every single game. No doubt.
Right. But, I mean, you look at it from like a top-down perspective, and it's like, even under Steve Spurrier, where we won 10, 11 games in the SEC, and we won the SEC East, we still probably didn't get above that blue chip ratio. And, I mean, I've sort of gotten in my mind that I'm okay with that, basically.
Yeah.
I think that we should be the best that we can possibly be. And if we, end up getting there at some point, then I'll eat my words and I'll be the happiest person alive. But until that happens,
mm-hmm.
Until that happens, I'm content with a lot of really good seasons, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 win seasons even in the SEC, a lot of big bowl game wins and, a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why I've said before,
because
Dalton, that
at the end of the day,
go ahead.
Everybody wants it.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, that's why I've said before that I think, a realistic goal for South Carolina fans and for this program is, over the course of a decade, average 8 wins. Walk before you run. Average 8 wins a year. And every 3 to 4 years, again, maybe you have the right quarterback, schedule works out in your favor, you just got the right team, right? And you go to Atlanta, or you make a realistic run at going to Atlanta. But South Carolina's got to get to that level first before we can talk about, well, what do you got to do now to win double-digit game of years and raise the level of expectation to where if we hate to talk about them, but if Clemson wins single-digit games, they had a terrible season. If Georgia went 8-4 this year, can you imagine? Can you imagine if that happened? Right? Like, the level of expectation is just not the same. And for reasons, right? There's reasons behind that. So, and I will say this, to your point, if South Carolina, if and when, let me speak it into existence, they win an SEC championship or, God forbid, win a national championship, we're going to look back and say it's because the recruiting changed. It's because the blue chip ratio changed. Like, Shane Beamer cannot wave a magic wand and turn a because here's what happens. God bless them. They do a great job. It's their job. It's a very successful business model. But what happens is the recruiting services sell you on this 3-star kid's the next legend. And I'm not taking anything away from that, but you're right. The reason folks will dismiss that is because those are very hard facts that people don't want to stare in the face. They don't want to have to face that. And like you said, recruiting the way we always have, we can still have 8-4 seasons and have great years. But yeah, if you're talking about winning a national championship or even winning an SEC championship, yeah, that blue chip ratio matters. Like, you got to get better players. You have to, because every time I watch the national title or I watch the playoff and I watch Bama and I watch Georgia, and as much as I hate to say it, I even watch Clemson, like, what stands out is, bro, you can talk scheme all you want. You can talk play calling. You can talk the head coach. That team right there, they got better players than everybody. They just have better athletes. They got better football players. Their player can do things, and, hey, there can be a busted play. It can be a bad play call, and they'll still make a play out of it because their players are just better. So that's what it comes down to. South Carolina in 10-13, When South Carolina was reeling off 11 wins, they didn't do it because Steve Spurrier was a magician. He was a great play caller, don't get me wrong, but we just had great players. And so, yeah, getting back to that, getting as close to that blue chip ratio as you're talking about, 4 and 5 star guys, God bless the 3-star dudes. I appreciate them. And stars aren't everything. But if they didn't mean anything, they wouldn't have them to begin with. So that's the harsh reality of it. That's what you have to face.
We've had some really productive players, that were 3-star guys. I mean,
some of the
DJ
greatest
Swearinger
players in school history are 3-star guys. Yeah.
Debo Samuel, 3-star guy.
Melvin Ingram was a 3-star. Swearinger was a 3-star.
Guys,
Pat DeMarco was a 2-star. You know what I mean? Like, it happens. Dylan Thompson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is, in the new landscape of college football, especially if this news about Clemson, FSU, Virginia, and North Carolina happens, I mean, especially Clemson and FSU, because I think eventually FSU is going to figure it out. Clemson's already what they are right now. I think they're going to take a step back with Dabo, but, with what he's lost this year, and I just don't think that they're going to be as good as they have been in the last couple of years, but they're still going to be a solid team, no matter what. I'm just thinking, like, if we're going to the quote-unquote super conference model, winning the conference is basically winning the national championship.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
If we're talking about a conference title, you're essentially saying we're going to be so good that we're going to be the best teams in the country every single week for 12 weeks. And I don't know. I think we have the potential to get big wins, but I just don't see us, breaking that historical, cap, if you will, on our recruiting.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. I mean, listen, there's until you're proven wrong, there is no evidence that shows you will be. So, fair enough.
Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. I wanted to chime in on what everybody's favorite person is, or everybody's, every Gamecock fan's favorite person, Mr. Mark Ryan, what he had to say about Beamer. I hope he is right that Beamer gets more out of his players. I think he will, end up being right. I agree with you. I don't think it's early. I think it's way too early to tell that, but again, I think the future is bright, and I hope Beamer proves everybody wrong, but I'm just not willing to say that he will 100% do that, no matter how much hype there is.
Yeah. Fair enough. Dalton, appreciate the call, man. Pleasure chatting with you. Always good stuff.
No problem.
Great stuff. And listen, you can hate it as much as you like. You can kick and scream and bitch and moan, but guy makes some valid points. And I will say this, to Dalton's credit, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion of, I'm not overreacting to anything yet. The jury's still out. That's okay. It's only been a year of Beamer. It's okay. And you can believe in Beamer. You can believe in the program. You can believe in everything going on. You can love what's happening and still say, when people go, don't you think he's the answer to all of our wishes and dreams? It's like, I'm in wait and see. We'll see. We'll see, right? Because people thought Will Muschamp was the same thing. After year 2, they thought Muschamp was the second coming. They thought he was Joe Moe reincarnated. Maurice Patterson, tsus.store, my friend, for the Clem Sucks. We got a whole Clem Sucks collection, my guy. I tried to comment on Facebook, and it didn't go through for some reason. John Edwards says, I think we'll win a football national championship one day. I hear you, John Edwards. Praying you're right. Travis said, building since 1892. Indeed. Let's see. Christian Carver with a good point. Even when Clemson was losing to us 5 years in a row, they were still winning a few ACC titles and having some 10-win seasons too. And we're still going to some great bowl games. Or we're still going to – yeah, I mean, and that's the difference, Christian Carver. While during that 5-game win streak for us, We were winning Outback Bowls. Clemson was winning ACC championships. And you can talk whatever you want about the ACC. You can say how bad it is, and you can talk all your junk, but a conference championship is a conference championship. And a conference championship is a lot cooler than an Outback Bowl victory. I'm sorry. It just is. It just is. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But it's the truth, right? And so Clemson was able, even when they were losing to us, they were able to build their program and sell the fact that, hey, we're winning conference titles. We're close. We're close to being an elite program. Come help us. Come help us get to the next level. Christian Carver, I think South Carolina and Tennessee are in similar positions in the program. Both had first-year coaches last year, and the Tennessee game this year could be crucial to our recruiting cycle in the future. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge game, obviously, Christian. I think Tennessee's a program. It's two different programs. Tennessee's trying to get back to what they were historically great, and we're trying to break through and, I guess in some ways get back to what we were under Spurrier, but we're trying to just break through and, Let's hear. Dave, what's up, man? How are you?
Hot as hell, but other than that, I'm all right. 2 weeks from today, looking forward to it in Summerville.
Yes,
got
absolutely.
a couple questions for you. From what I'm hearing, they changed the ruling where now the schools can help with NIL, reaching out for athletes. If that's true, how do you think that's going to affect the Garnet Trust? And are you going to – I thought one time you said you weren't going to do the Heisman season this year.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play
the –
Yeah, I'm not going to play the season on Heisman just because I felt like I'm going to win every game. So the entertainment value of it. We're going to do the season simulation series. I'm going to simulate it, but I'm probably not going to play the season on Heisman or anything. So, but
okay.
I'm starting the simulation stuff earlier than normal, so there won't be like some huge gap without it. So,
do you think it would be possible to do a BCC hangout on the simulation games? Because I really enjoyed it during the baseball season. But,
yeah.
Hope you have a good day, man. And I'm swinging by Todd and Moore the weekend to grab some stuff.
My man.
And I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I appreciate it, Dave. Always a pleasure to hear from you, my guy. And I appreciate your love. Thank you so much, Dave, for calling in. Back to his initial question, the schools now getting their hands in NIL, and what does it mean for the, like the Garnet Trust, for example. I mean, I can't speak for all of like their behind the scenes business operations, whatever. I would imagine the Garnet Trust is still a thing. And you got to think, Gamecock Central works with the school. So I'm sure they will coordinate in some form or fashion. I doubt the Garnet Trust is just, going away. I don't think that'll be the case. Guys, we're going to jump into one final break, but I want to continue to hear from you, more of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 15 minutes or so here on the Daily Crow, taking your questions, comments, calls. Austin Thompson chiming in, and I'm sorry, Austin, it took me so long to get your question because I saw it on Twitter, and you texted me. So I apologize for it taking so long. But Austin says, would you say we are 5 times more talented on the roster this year than last year? If so, we are excited to win 7 games, and we already did that with the team last year. Okay, so Austin's point is the fact that we are 5 times more talented, but we're excited to win the same amount of games. Austin, I've talked about this before. What's dangerous in college football is to take on this mentality, right? Is to take to win. I don't know what happened. Muschamp Packers. Anyways, it's dangerous to take on the mentality you won X amount of games last year, so we should win Y amount of games this year, right? Yes, we are more talented. How do you quantify? Is it 3 times more talented, 4 times more talented, 5 times more talented? I don't know, Austin. I don't know, right? I don't know exactly how you quantify that, but we're more talented, no doubt. But we overachieved last year, right? Were we really a 7-win team? Debatable. Could have easily went 4-8 in the regular season. Could have won more, but we definitely could have lost more. There's no question. So even though you're more talented, right? Schedule's different. Personnel of teams you play is different. Your personnel's different. So yes, you upgraded, but so did everybody else, Austin. And now you trade out a home date with Auburn for a road game to Arkansas. That's a tougher game. You still got to play Georgia, A&M, and Clemson. Now you got to go on the road to Gainesville, right? You still got to play Tennessee, who whooped your ass last year, right? You got to go to Kentucky. So you can't just say, well, we won this many last year, we should win this many this year. You see what I'm saying? Do you compute what I'm getting at? So I understand, though, like you add a player like Spencer Rattler, the wanting to win more and to upgrade. I get it. But let me ask you this, Austin. We were fortunate last year. We were very fortunate. The way the ball bounced our way a couple of times, very fortunate. What if it doesn't quite bounce your way in that way this year? What if it doesn't? You know? What if things go against you more so than they did last year? I know people get so tired of hearing this. They get so sick of hearing this. You could have a better team than you had last year and still win the same amount of games. You could. You very well could. You know? You very well could. It's possible. Now, if you go 6-6, I'm not going to chastise a Gamecock fan for feeling disappointed. I'll be disappointed. I'll just feel like, you feel like you should have gotten more out of Rattler. Should have gotten more out of your upgrades and your additions because he's just one of many, right? He's just one of many. But as I said before, these first 5 years, the building process, right? As long as you're getting to bowl games, you're getting to postseason play the first 5 years every year, you're building your program. You're okay. You're still on a positive trajectory. But yes, I don't know how you quantify how much more talented you are than you were last year. I mean, certainly at quarterback, it's night and day. But that doesn't mean all of a sudden automatically you're a 9-win team. That's not what that means, you know? And everybody else you played, guys, they got better too. Everybody else is trying to get better also. We'll see how much better they got. Maybe our upgrades are better than theirs. But I have to remind people of this. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win, guys. Everybody wants to win. We're not the only ones that want to win. When folks are having these conversations about us winning national championships and SEC championships and folks are dreaming, right? Do you think Ole Miss fans don't have the same combo? You think Kentucky fans don't? You think Mississippi State fans don't? You think You think Tennessee fans don't have those combos about getting back. You think Florida fans don't have those combos about getting back. You don't think Mizzou fans even, Auburn fan, it's so competitive, and you really have to give credit to how hard it is. How hard it is to win at a high level. Austin says, all I'm saying is we went above and beyond last year, so I believe we can go above and beyond with a much better team, especially having a quarterback compared to Zeb and Jason only having Van as a weapon. Again, Austin, valid points. Valid points. We will be better this year. Nobody's denying that. We will be better. But just because we'll be better doesn't mean, like I said, we're going to go from 7 with a bowl win to 9. It doesn't mean – it might happen, but it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. Christian Carver says, since 2016, excluded the COVID year in 2020, Kentucky's averaged 8 wins a year and been to a bowl game every year, even during the COVID year. And I think at one point, Kentucky was at the bottom of the barrel. Now look at them. We can average 8 wins a year if we have the right players to buy in here. Christian, you make a great point, and it's something Gamecock fans don't want to discuss, right? And Kentucky's not the most important game this year, but it's a big one. It's a big one. Because I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you what. If Kentucky, I'll say this. If Kentucky beats South Carolina this year, I'll be willing to say Kentucky and South Carolina have swap places as programs. I mean, you could already say that, really. But Kentucky has slid up and Carolina's fallen a notch below. South Carolina's damn near what Kentucky has always been, and Kentucky jumped ahead of South Carolina. How can you prove me wrong? How? Kentucky's won 4 straight bowl games. As you mentioned, they're averaging 8 wins a year. Right now, Kentucky's better. They are better. And they've beaten you 7 of the last 8. What can we say? What can you say? So if Kentucky beats South Carolina this year and they make it 8 of the last 9, I'll be willing to go out on I don't even know go out on a limb is the right way to put it. I will be willing to say Kentucky's a better program than South Carolina right now. They are. On-field results matter a lot. They are. Kentucky has jumped ahead of South Carolina as a program. And that can pain you. That can make you upset. But again, you can't deny on-field results. And Cody Gaskins, this deserves to be highlighted because Muschamp put us so far behind it makes us sick. It's true. Luke RJ, it's all because of Beamer. No other coach could win 7 if they both started from the same point with last year's roster. I mean, Luke RJ, I think there's probably other coaches in college football that could have done it. You tell me Nick Saban couldn't have won 7? I mean, there's probably other coaches that could have, but it was a great job last year by Shane Beamer. It was. It was. It was a great job. Tyler Gay says, what's your opinion, Chris? Do you think we should have won the Kentucky game last year? Is Kentucky the one that didn't capitalize on their opportunities and should have won by more? I think we didn't capitalize, and that's why we lost. Yeah, Tyler, I have sort of an unpopular take on that game because, and again, we're talking about last year's Kentucky game, but I put it this way. I mean, you won the turnover battle 3-0 at home, and you still lost. So I could argue Kentucky should have beaten you by a lot more than they did. You're fortunate to only lost that game by a score, right? You had to win the turnover battle 3-0 just to lose by 6. God forbid, what if you'd have lost the turnover battle or it'd have been even? You know? So, with an offensive pulse, we win that game last year, but we didn't. We didn't. That's it. You can't go back and change it. We didn't. Fact of the matter is, Kentucky's won 7 of the last 8. 7 and 3, I guess. No, excuse me. Whatever. 7 and 3 in the last decade. Something like that. Is that right? I don't know. Does it even matter? Does it even matter? But that's why I say, man, like, I love beating Georgia. I love beating Clemson. I'd love to beat A&M, but damn it, we got to beat Mizzou and Kentucky. Hey, as good as last year was, you didn't beat either one of those teams. Who gives a damn if you beat Auburn? Who gives a damn if you beat Arkansas? You don't play them every year. Those are just one-off, nice-to-win ball games. We got to play Kentucky and Mizzou every single season. Every year.
Call from
Jump to the phone lines.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, what's going on? How are you?
Good. I just wanted to call in for a few minutes, and that's it.
Okay.
If y'all don't mind.
Phone line is yours. Anything in particular you'd like to say?
Well, yeah, I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
Here lately, I've been feeling like I have not been really that important to people. And I feel like it's been all about Robbie Davis here lately. And I just want him to say my piece about it, and because that's how I feel.
Well, Rebecca,
Hello?
we all love you and appreciate you calling in. So this is an equal opportunity call-in show. So
Okay.
we all love you and appreciate you calling in, Rebecca.
But I know that we're having my birthday party on Tuesday on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to let you know on something.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I stuck up for you last night.
I did see that. I appreciate it.
Because somebody made a big deal about you.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to let you know that I tried to stick up to you for you and everything.
Mm-hmm.
On Twitter. Well, I done it out of my own heart.
I appreciate that, Rebecca. Thank you. I know you always have my back.
And I appreciate you. I reckon I'm going to get off of here. It's almost 2 o'clock.
Sounds good, Rebecca. I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. Always good to hear from you.
I will. I try.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Great stuff. Great stuff from Rebecca, as always. We got a couple of minutes, guys. Stay tuned for the podcast tomorrow. My predictions for the second half of the Gamecocks 2022 season. Luke RJ with a question: over under top 40 offense. Let's get this up here. Considering the Freddie Kitchens edition and learning from last year's mistakes from Beamer and the whole staff, Luke RJ, I will go into this in deep detail on the Monday show when I talk offense and break it all down and really give my predictions for the offense. But I will tell you right now, I'd probably go we're going to be outside of the top 40 slightly, but outside. I think it's reasonable to shoot for a top 50. Top 40s, it's getting up there. So I'll say top 50. I know, Luke RJ, you think Carolina's going to go 12-0 and score 50 points a game, and that's fine and dandy. But top 40s, aggressive. It's aggressive. So I'll say if we can be 50th in offense, I'd be ecstatic. I mean, you got to think we were like 106th or 116th last year. So 50th would be a massive improvement. A massive improvement. Offensive line's got a block, though. Guys, we've hit 2 o'clock. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much again for the continued love and support. Stay tuned for all the content bleeding out of the eyeballs. Y'all have a great rest of your Thursday. We will talk to you all tomorrow.